Welcome to the first episode of AI Labs. Our goal is to make AI easy for you. We believe that the future isn't AI, it's you plus AI. And our mission is to empower you to harness the latest AI tools and tricks to enhance your productivity and confidence in this evolving landscape. As your AI learning hub, we provide regular updates packed with insights and resources designed to demystify AI, enabling you to integrate its power seamlessly into your daily life. Let's get started.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. I want to start today by asking you to think about the last 2 years of your digital life.
Okay.
And specifically, I want you to think about the frustration. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The era of AI slop.
It's a very visceral term, isn't it? Slop.
It is, but it feels earned. We've all been drowning in it. The chatbots that, hallucinate if you ask them to do basic math.
Right.
The AI-powered features in your email that suggest replies like, sounds good, when you're trying to negotiate $1 million contract.
Yeah, not helpful.
It's been this weird period where the tech was impressive enough to make headlines, but kind of, annoying to actually use. It felt like we were all beta testers for a product that just wasn't quite ready.
You're absolutely right. We've been living through the prototype phase. Companies were just desperate to show shareholders they had an AI strategy.
Yeah.
So they shoved these half-baked models into everything. It was effectively glorified autocomplete. But the reason we are talking today, and the reason the source material is so urgent, is that the slop era didn't just fade away. It ended. Abruptly.
It feels like the lights just turned on. Today is Tuesday, February 10th, 2026. That's the date on the calendar. But the shift really kicked off 5 days ago.
That's right.
We are looking at a new report today titled The AI Revolution and the Death of SaaS. And I have to say, usually when I see a title like The Death of Software, I roll my eyes.
Sure. It feels like clickbait.
It does.
Yeah.
But this time, after reading through the data, the benchmarks, the market reaction, I'm not rolling my eyes. I'm actually a little unnerved.
It's a confronting report. We're essentially unpacking 3 distinct pillars today. First, the catalyst, the release of Claude Opus 4.6. We need to talk about why this isn't just another update.
Okay.
Second, we have to look at the scoreboard, which, in this case is the stock market. There is an absolute bloodbath happening in traditional software stocks right now.
And bloodbath is not an exaggeration. We're talking about massive companies just shedding value while the rest of the economy is booming.
And finally, we need to talk about the so what, because the rules of business are being rewritten right now. We are moving from a world where you pay for seats.
Right, buying a license for a human to use a tool.
Exactly. To a world where you pay for workflows.
That distinction, seats versus workflows, that's the thread I really want to pull on today. But let's start with the tech. February 5th. Anthropic releases Claude Opus 4.6. Now, I've used Claude since the beginning. Usually an update means, it's a little faster or it makes fewer mistakes. But the source material refers to this model as a senior engineer in a box. That feels a bit arrogant, doesn't it?
It does, but is it? I mean, here's why it's different. Previous models were helpers. You gave them a snippet of code, they fixed a typo,
Right.
Gave them a paragraph, they rewrote it. Opus 4.6 is an agent. It doesn't just complete a task, it manages a project.
The project.
The report details how this model can plan software architecture, write the code, run the code, see the error, debug its own error, and then iterate until it works.
So it's the difference between a spell checker and an actual writer.
Or the difference between, say, a junior intern who needs constant supervision and a senior developer who you can just trust to get it done.
Wow.
And the specs back this up. The context window is now 1 million tokens.
We hear tokens a lot. Can you break that down for us?
Yeah.
What does 1 million tokens actually let me do that I couldn't do before?
Okay, think of it this way. Before, you could paste maybe a long article or a chapter of a book into the AI. If you tried to put in a whole code base, it would forget the beginning by the time it got to the end.
Got it.
1 million tokens is like dumping a stack of novels or your company's entire legal history or every line of code for your current app into the chat in one pass, and it remembers all of it perfectly.
So I could say, here is every contract we've signed in the last 10 years. Find me every instance where we agreed to a liability cap of less than $50,000. And it does it.
Instantly and accurately. On the Terminal Bench 2.0 benchmark, which tests how well an AI can use a computer terminal like a human developer, It set a new world record.
A new world record.
Then on general knowledge work, it beat GPT 5.2 by 144 ELO points.
I saw that number, 144 ELO points. For the chess nerds out there, that's huge. But for everyone else, how big of a gap is that really?
In chess, a 144-point gap is the difference between a grandmaster and a pretty decent club player.
Okay.
If they played 10 games, the grandmaster wins almost all of them. It's not a margin of error lead, it's a different weight class.
Yeah, it really puts it in perspective. But here's the thing, Anthropic isn't the only one playing this game, right?
Not at all.
The report mentions a price war that I think is even more significant than the capability jump. We expect Google and OpenAI to be there. But who is Moonshot AI?
This is the curveball. Moonshot is a Chinese lab. They released a model called Kimi K2.5. Now get this, it's a trillion parameter model.
A trillion. So that's frontier class, massive scale.
It is, but they trained it for $4.6 million.
Wait, hold on. 4.6 million. I thought training these big models cost hundreds of millions, sometimes billions of dollars.
That was the assumption. And that assumption was the moat that Google and Microsoft were relying on. They thought, nobody else can afford to compete with us.
Right.
But if you can build a frontier model for the price of a few nice houses in San Francisco, the moat is gone.
That is terrifying for the incumbents. If the barrier to entry just collapses, then high-quality intelligence becomes a commodity, becomes cheap.
Exactly. And Kimi isn't just cheap. It offers visual coding. You can screenshot a website, maybe a competitor's landing page, upload it, and say, build me this. And it writes the code to replicate the design and the functionality.
So we have models that act like senior engineers, and we have the cost of building them just plummeting. If I'm a buyer of software, this all sounds great.
It is great.
Everything is getting better and cheaper. But if I'm an investor in traditional software companies, I'm guessing I'm not sleeping very well.
You are definitely not sleeping well. And that brings us to the bloodbath.
Let's look at the numbers. Because the S&P 500 is actually up, isn't it? The economy isn't crashing.
No, the broader market is up about 9%. But software companies, the S&P 500 software index, are down roughly 18% in the last 6 months. It's a massive divergence.
They're just being left behind.
Completely.
And who are the casualties here? Are we talking about small, fragile startups?
No, these are the titans, the companies that form the backbone of the Fortune 500. Take ServiceNow. This is a company that manages IT workflows for huge corporations.
A giant.
Their stock is down nearly 50% over the past year.
50%.
Yeah.
That is a collapse.
And the crazy part, their earnings were good. They reported $3.4 billion in revenue and 21% growth. If this was 2024, the stock would be soaring, but it crashed.
Because the market isn't looking at today's revenue, it's looking at next year's existence.
Precisely. It's the coyote running off the cliff moment.
Yeah.
The coyote is still moving, his legs are pumping, but the ground underneath him is gone.
Look at Salesforce, down 40%. And there's a specific incident mentioned in the report that really illustrates why.
The Claude cowork plugin, right?
Yeah, I read that and my jaw just hit the floor.
It's a perfect microcosm of the problem. Anthropic launched a plugin for Claude specifically designed to automate legal workflows. Reviewing NDAs, checking compliance, standard stuff.
Okay.
Almost immediately, Salesforce stock slid 14% in 5 days.
Because the market realized, wait, if I can just plug Claude into my email and it does the legal work, why am I paying Salesforce millions of dollars for a complex legal management module?
And why do I need to pay for 50 seats for junior legal aides to manage that software when the AI just does the work? The connection was instant. JP Morgan called it a vicious cycle of depressed valuations.
Wow.
The sentiment on Wall Street is that these companies are dead walking.
Okay, so I have to play devil's advocate here. I feel like we do this every few years. When the cloud came out, everyone said, oh, on-premise software is dead. Oracle is doomed. But Oracle adapted. When open source got big, people said, who will pay for software? But Red Hat made billions. SaaS has survived every single disruption so far. Why is this the asteroid that finally killed the dinosaurs?
That is the multi-billion-dollar question. And the source argues that this time is different because of the nature of the competition.
Yeah.
In those previous shifts, Cloud, mobile, the competition was about features.
Explain that. What do you mean?
Well, Salesforce competed with Oracle by saying, my software is easier to access because it's in the browser, or, my dashboard is prettier. It was feature versus feature.
Okay.
But AI isn't competing on features. It's competing on the business model itself.
It's attacking the seat.
It's attacking the fundamental idea of what SaaS even is. I mean, think about it. What is a CRM? What is a project management tool like Asana or Jira?
I mean, if you strip away all the branding,
Yeah.
it's a database. It's a spreadsheet with a user interface that forces you to fill in certain boxes.
Bingo. It's a nice UI on a database, and the value proposition was always, we built the UI for you so you don't have to. But now,
Now the AI can build it.
Claude Opus 4.6 can build you a dashboard, a database, and a compliance checker in, 20 minutes? And it builds it specifically for your workflow.
So instead of me changing my business to fit how Salesforce thinks I should sell, I just tell the AI how I sell, and it builds the tool around me.
Right. And here is the kicker. No vendor lock-in, no 3-year contract, and most importantly, no paying per seat.
And that per-seat model is the golden goose for these companies.
It's the only goose. The entire SaaS economy is built on this idea. You hire more people, you pay us more money.
Right.
But AI is a deflationary force on headcount. If you use AI correctly, you become vastly more productive. You don't need to hire 50 more data entry clerks. So if you aren't hiring more people, Salesforce doesn't grow.
And if you can build your own tool for pennies on the dollar, you might just cancel Salesforce entirely.
That's the death spiral. Optimistically, companies just buy fewer seats. Pessimistically, they stop buying the software altogether because they can build a custom, better version themselves. We're moving from rent a generic tool to build a custom workflow.
So if the old world is burning down, what rises from the ashes? The report outlines a taxonomy of survival. Basically 3 types of companies in this new era. Let's walk through them.
Sure, the first category is the dead walking.
Which sounds like a zombie movie, but I guess it fits.
It really does. These are the companies we just discussed. Their primary value is organizing data. If your product is just a form to input data and a chart to display it, you are in trouble.
The load is gone.
The mode is gone. The subscription model collapses because the perceived value drops to 0.
Okay, so that's the danger zone. What's category 2?
Category 2 is the pivoting. These are the giants who see the asteroid coming and are trying to build a bunker.
Like Salesforce launching Agentforce.
Exactly. Salesforce is screaming, look, we have AI too. We have agents. The report notes that Agentforce is their fastest growing product ever. But there's a huge problem here.
The innovator's dilemma.
That's it. To truly embrace AI, they have to cannibalize their own revenue.
Right. If Salesforce sells you an AI agent that does the work of 5 humans, they just lost the revenue from those 5 human seats. They are fighting their own business model.
It's incredibly hard to pull off.
It's like a car company trying to invent teleportation. If they succeed, nobody buys cars anymore.
That's a great analogy. Some might make it, but many won't move fast enough.
And category 3, the winners.
The infrastructure layer, the pipes and the shovels.
And the report pointed out Oracle as the big outlier here.
Yes, Oracle is the only major software stock that is up over the past year. Why? Because they are pivoting to become a cloud infrastructure provider. They are renting out the GPUs that run the AI. Alphabet, Google's parent company, saw its cloud revenue soar 48%.
So if everyone is building their own custom AI software, they need somewhere to host it. They need computing power.
Exactly. In a gold rush, don't try to find the gold. Sell the pickaxes. The demand for compute is absolutely insatiable.
I wanted to touch on the timeline here. Because usually when we talk about disruption like the shift to mobile, it took a decade. Is this a 10-year cycle?
The source material says no. They are predicting a 2 to 3 year window for this disruption to hit the data management sector.
2 to 3 years. That's incredibly fast.
It's blistering. But look at the adoption curve. Enterprise AI spending jumped from $2.5 million in 2024 to $7 million in 2025. It's projected to hit $11.6 million this year.
That's a vertical line.
It is. And the adoption. 44% of enterprises now use Anthropic in production. That was basically 0 2 years ago. And Claude Code, their developer tool, hit a $1 billion revenue run rate in 6 months.
$1 billion in 6 months. That's faster than the iPhone. Faster than arguably any software product in history.
It shows that the demand isn't theoretical. Companies are hungry for this. They are desperate to get away from the seat tax of SaaS and move to the efficiency of AI.
Okay, so let's bring this down to earth for the listener. We have people listening who run businesses, manage teams. Maybe they just work in one of these departments that's about to be disrupted. What do they do? What is the practical advice?
The report is very clear on this. You need a mindset shift. Step 1, audit your seat tax.
Stop paying for things you don't need.
Be ruthless. If you are paying $50 a month per person for a tool that basically just tracks tasks or stores documents, challenge that. Ask, Can we build a workflow in Claude or GPT that does this for us?
But that requires knowing how to ask.
And that is the second and probably most important point. The competitive advantage of the future isn't buying the best software. It's AI literacy. But I want to be specific about what that means. It doesn't mean learning to code Python.
Right, because the AI code's for you now.
Exactly. It means learning to describe workflows. We are moving from a world of users to a world of architects.
I love that. Can you give me a concrete example? What does that sound like?
Sure. So instead of saying, I need a CRM software so I can log my calls, you say to the AI, I want a system where when I receive an email from a new client, it scans the text, categorizes their budget, checks our calendar for availability, drafts a reply proposing 3 times, and logs all of this in a central file.
You're describing the outcome, not the tool.
You are designing the logic. If you can articulate the logic of your business, the AI can build the system. If you can't articulate your logic, well, you're going to be stuck paying for generic software that doesn't quite fit.
So the skill to master right now is clarity. Clarity of process.
Clarity is the new coding.
That brings us full circle to where we started, the end of Slop.
It really is. The era of, look at this funny poem the bot wrote, is over. The novelty is worn off. Now we are in the era of utility. Real economic utility.
It's a daunting shift, I won't lie.
Yeah.
It puts the responsibility back on us to know what we actually want to build.
It does, but it's also liberating. For the last 20 years, we've been forced to work the way software wanted us to work. You know, click this button, fill this field, navigate this menu.
Right.
Now the software works the way we want to work.
We've covered a ton of ground today. The rise of Opus 4.6 as a senior engineer, the crash of the SaaS titans, and this fundamental shift from buying seats to architecting workflows.
What's a historic moment?
I want to leave the listeners with a final provocation from the source material. It's a question that has been bouncing around my head all morning.
Okay.
We've established that AI can now replicate the software you pay for, often better and cheaper than the vendor can. So the question is, are you currently paying for a product, or are you paying for a habit?
That is the question every CEO and every freelancer should be asking themselves in the mirror today.
The slop is dead. The real work and the real opportunity begins now. Thanks for diving in with us.
See you next time.
First episode of AI Lab. At Optos AI, our service is built on trust and backed by value. And we are committed to keeping all our content clear, useful, and on your terms. Everything we provide is 100% free with no spam, only smart AI tools to help you unlock productivity. We invite you to join our community of learners by signing up to receive our free resource guide. If you have any questions or feedback, please reach out to us at contact@optus.ai. Until next time, keep exploring and embrace the power of AI today.